Hello and welcome to Who Are You? We're the Babylon 5 watchcast by a couple of former strangers who are now friends and still getting to know each other over one of their favorite shows from their childhood, Babylon 5. I'm Laura.
And I'm Xhafer.
And it's another episode of Crusade.
You know, when we told our friends in the Babylon 5 podcasting community that we were going to do this, everyone was like, why would you do this to yourselves? And there were a couple episodes of the show where I'm all like, I think that was unfair to Crusade. It was not unfair to Crusade. And it was a very legitimate question to ask us.
I think it makes for good material for the type of podcast that we're doing. You know, we're not taking the show super seriously. We didn't take Babylon 5 super seriously, and we're sure as fuck not taking Crusade super seriously.
How can you? Yeah, this one was rough.
I think the bones were there, though, man. There were some bones.
I agree
that this could have been good science fiction.
This could have been really good science fiction.
Yeah.
And instead, it's boring at best.
Yeah.
It's rough. Man, this is the episode Scott was supposed to be joining us on. Listener, he's not. Obviously, we wish him well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that this episode would have helped his recovery at all.
No. Even making jokes about it might be a little much at this stage. Yeah. No, it's sad. Like, I feel like we're kind of the Crusade rewrite podcast, too. Like, every time we're like, oh, if they just a little bit of this or just a little bit of that. Like, and it's so easy for us to do, like, in hindsight, 30 years later.
Yeah.
Like, punch it up a bit.
I can make this episode better in one line very quickly.
You think just one? Okay. I have a couple of places I would tweak this one. But
oh, I will. Yeah, no, it needs a lot of love, but I can take it from this was miserable to I get the point. Like with one line. And it's not even a full line. It's a adjusted line of dialogue.
Interesting. I can't wait till we get to it. We were talking before pod, behind the curtain, off the pod, that you don't have very many notes for this one.
This has to be the least amount of notes I've ever taken for an episode of anything.
Yeah, I think so. You said 2 pages.
Yeah, well, it's close to a page and 3/4. It's rough. Normally, for context, I think I've said this a couple times. My average is 5 pages of notes.
Yeah.
For an hour of television. Half-hour shows tend to run 3 to 4-ish, depending. Hour-long run 5, because you tend to do a lot of there's either production notes or kind of stuff that doesn't really matter how long the episode is. I have gone on record saying that sometimes I know an episode is bad when I will pause it to go do the laundry and stuff. I did not do that with this episode. This episode was so bad that I'm all like, I can't stop because I won't come back to it.
I had that impulse this time. Like, there was something at the beginning that I was like, oh, I need to pause because I need to go do that. And I don't usually. Like, usually we're going straight through unless one of the kids needs something. Like, we'll pause a few times for me to take notes. But I don't usually pause to get up and leave. But I did that with this one.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to Battlestar right now.
Yeah. Well, we're not too far. We're getting there.
No, we've got, 4 episodes of Crusade left after this?
And a book that I still need to finish reading. But I'm enjoying, let me say.
I'm not super far into it, but I am enjoying the book. We're going to do the Centauri trilogy.
We have the Lost Tales. We haven't done the Lost Tales.
Oh, that's right. Lost Tales is the last thing, because Galen's in it, so we wanted to wait till after Crusade.
Oh, I didn't remember. Well, but I didn't watch Crusade, so I didn't really have a context for Galen when I watched the Lost Tales. Okay.
Well, this one, you should probably talk about the episode.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I should lead, because you only have less than 2 pages of notes.
I mean, it opens pretty much the same, I think, regardless.
Yeah, it's always the Excalibur at some planet doing something. Yeah.
This time they're hanging out outside the Dark Tower trying to find their way in.
Yeah. Darina's trying to climb it. That seems legit. Yeah. Max is bitching about not being able to get inside.
Yeah. There's a riddle on the door.
Speak, friend. and enter.
Of course. Yeah, who's going to know what to do with a riddle? The space wizard. Duh.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
What a balanced adventuring party this is.
Yeah, okay, so we have space wizard. We have
Space rogue.
Space rogue, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
What do we call Max? What is Max?
Max is probably an artificer.
Okay. I'd buy
our
that.
space wizard is technically an artificer, I feel. But, he's a space wizard. It's fine. Yeah, he's kind of like, he might also be a rogue, but just like a very like, it depends on what system we're running. In 3.5, he would be an int-based rogue.
Yeah, I like artificer for him because he's always fooling with like gadgets to do languages and stuff.
He might be a bard.
Is he a bard or is he a monk?
I think he's a bard. So if we look at like bard abilities, right? You've got the thing that gives you proficiency in all your skills, your jack of all trades. You've got your like bardic knowledge where you can just kind of summon ethereal knowledge from the past and stuff and put things together. And then bards can also attack with like your vicious mockeries.
Yeah,
so
I guess. See, he's
not really like a singy bard, but you don't have to be like a singy instrumenty bard to be a bard. You can be a historian.
But here's the thing. With bards, I feel like they should be able to sleep their way through any problem, and I don't think Max could have sex to save himself out of a paper bag. You know what I mean?
Fair. He's not a charisma-based bard.
No.
But I think I might build him if I were to build this in 3.5 or 5th edition D&D, I think I'd build him as a bard.
Okay. But he's like the anti-bard because he can't get any.
It's an unusual type of bard, but a bard nevertheless.
Okay. What is Gideon then?
Gideon, I think, is a ranger.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of like hangs out in the back, keeps track of everything that's going on.
Uh-huh.
Says when to fire, does a couple things here and there.
Yeah, he's got leadership skills.
Yeah, he would be a marshal in 3.5, which is a lot more like a leadership type class where you're like, your thing is you're the party leader.
Uh-huh.
And you like give bonuses to people who are around you and stuff. He might be a paladin. I could see that working too.
Yeah, no, I kind of like that. I like both of them.
Yeah, an oathbound paladin. Yeah, there we go. We did not have this planned for a cold open, but
no,
D&D
but it's
classes
working.
of Babylon 5.
And then there's one left I really want to know. Matheson. What is Matheson?
Matheson might be a space sorcerer.
Okay. Yeah, he has like a natural ability, whereas Space Wizard has studied it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's. I don't think he's very. I mean, he's like a lieutenant. He's not supposed to be a particularly like high-ranking character, but I think he's like a nice little low-level wizard. Yeah, or sorcerer. Yeah, sorcerer, not wizard.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. And I like that we did spend some more time with Matheson this time in this episode.
He's a good character to spend time with, and actually, I think his bit was the highlight of the episode.
Exactly. I said the same thing. Yeah.
I was ready to just write this whole thing off as going to be Gideon flashback in space.
Yeah.
When it went to commercial and came back from commercial and he was still in space, I'm just like, oh God, this is the whole fucking episode, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. His went on a little long, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah. So they got to get in. They got to solve this riddle. And our space wizard makes our space rogue cry and then uses her tear to get in.
Yeah. He like straight up bullies her.
Yeah, Galen has no trouble finding the button here and just leading us to our terrible, terrible fucking theme song.
Smash. We get some kind of alien head smoking at us to the theme song.
Yeah. This is the this world's at least largest water bong, which reveals itself to be a clip show machine when Gideon relives being stranded in space.
Yeah.
They decide to bring it aboard because of course they do.
Yeah, this doesn't seem possibly dangerous at all. Big crystal ball with maybe an alien trapped inside or something. And this is from a dead world again, yes?
Presumably. It looks pretty dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't look like a live world.
Yeah. Crystal ball from a dead world, not dangerous.
No. Galen just rides the train to pass the time. He can't sign up for free trial of ISN Plus, of course, those terms and conditions. Yikes. He comes to some conclusion after talking with Matheson briefly and leaves him on the tram to come to the same conclusion.
Yeah, I guess Galen was going to leave when they got what they came for, but he's riding the train because they haven't actually got what they came for. Is that is happening?
For sure. He's like, oh, it's on board, so we can just leave this planet now, even though we haven't.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to take it away with it on board. I would want to stay like in orbit because
well, then you shouldn't bring it on board.
Well,
if you
that's the thing. I wouldn't have brought it on board.
Yeah. I think if you bring it on board, you leave immediately because you brought it on board.
Yeah. So many logical decisions here. Yeah.
Right. Gideon does our pod intro with the Lady of the Bongwater. It kind of speaks in an understandable but unknowable language.
Yeah.
And we get the full flashback of Ensign Gideon on the Cerberus.
Yeah, the Cerberus. So the ship has been attacked by something at the start, yes? And Gideon and a team are sent out to EVA some repairs. But then the ship starts to jump without them. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the ship's trying to get away because the thing is back, which, boy, that sucks. I mean, I guess it must happen in space, but...
yeah.
Yeah, but the ship can't make it anyway. It's actually being attacked by a shadow ship.
Yeah. Not one that I remember seeing.
No, this looks like a different design.
Yeah.
Kind of where the shadow ships really reminded me of like spiders. This one's more like a different insect, you know?
Yeah.
Like
this one's like a caterpillar or something.
A beetle, I was going to say. But yeah.
Something
a little rounder than the spider has like long legs. You know, this has like roundness and shorter legs to it. So caterpillar also works pretty well. But they explode the ship, and I guess Gideon is the only one left alive, even though a whole team went out there.
Yeah. I mean, if they weren't detached enough from the ship at that time, then they got pulled with it when it started to accelerate.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What a way to go.
Well, I mean, yeah. It's it's not like the pull of the ship would do anything to you besides move you, because there's no other force holding you in place. You know, there's no gravity.
You might black out from the speed, huh?
I don't think you would, but
it depends.
It depends a lot on how it depends on how much you can move inside of those suits. If there's like if you can get shaken in one of those suits, if it's not like skin tight on the inside holding you in place. Because otherwise you would just move as one thing. I would think it would just pull.
It sure seems like the helmet is got some room in it, so you might actually like wang your head.
Yeah, and Scoogans did bust her head open inside of it last episode.
Exactly. So
okay. Yeah, you might be fucked.
Yeah, not great.
Not great, not terrible.
Not a good situation, no matter what.
Seems like a design flaw, actually. But regardless, gotta have those actors show those pretty faces. What else are you paying them for?
Yeah. So he's floating in space. He's got 3 minutes left of oxygen, and he sees the fleet.
The Technomage fleet.
The little black ships. Tries to hail them, and of course no one responds because they're supposed to be above these matters of mortals in the universe or whatever. They're like the elves in Lord of the Rings going off to the west.
You know what? Since like 4 or 5 episodes ago, I forget when it was, when we found out that the Technomages are just fucking the descendants of rich humans. I have so much less sympathy for these fuckers. And also, like, no, they're just the 1% flying off. They're above the matters of peasants, is the real truth of it.
Yeah. Ew. Does this mean like the descendants of like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are going to be Technomages? Fuck that.
Yeah, that's exactly the implication. It's people who were so rich that they had technology developed to implant inside of them to make them live longer and to give them superpowers. Those are the techno mages. They're the people who could afford to fucking do that and then fucked off with their super wealth. They are the 1%. They are exactly the descendants of your Elon Musk. Oof. Like, that is exactly who these people are.
Oof. I feel some riots coming on.
Right. Today is the Bell Riots.
It is the Bell Riots today. Everybody, happy Bell Riots.
I got dinner plans. Can we riot tomorrow?
Yeah. I mean, any time is a good time for a riot if you have the right reasons. Right? Yeah.
Just let my back heal up a little bit. I'll get into the rioting later, guys. I promise.
That's real though. So Gideon's about to pass out when suddenly one of the ships stops and picks him up. And it's Galen.
Are these ships bigger on the inside? That was the vibe I got.
Yeah, well, they've got that same technology as the Excalibur for the basketball court.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so we cut from there.
Yeah, we skip ahead a little bit.
Gideon's being interrogated by Earth Force. I didn't catch what level this guy was, but I assume like general.
Yeah, something
high up.
Something, yeah, enough to be yelling at an ensign, but not enough to be like, I don't know, maybe not, I don't know.
No.
It doesn't matter.
Let's talk about this for a second. So they tell us that Gideon is an ensign here, right?
Yeah.
And they also tell us that President Clark wants this all cleared up. So Clark is president, Gideon is an ensign. Is it just me, or did he move up ranks pretty fast?
So if this is at the very beginning of Clark's administration,
sure,
which would be before they knew what shadow ships were, right? Clark becomes president at the end of season 1. Shadow ships get revealed at the end of season 2. So I'm guessing it fits in that year.
Yeah.
Which means it's been 7 years since then for him to become captain.
7 years?
Yeah. So we've got the 4 years of the show, and then there's the last 4 years of the show, and a 3-year gap in between the end of season 5 and the start of Crusade.
Okay, so where Call to Arms fits in right before the start of Crusade. So it had been a couple of years between end of show and Call to Arms.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. It just seems
And that's if
fast.
This is early season 2. It does seem fast. No, it is abnormal. This is his first command, though. Is kind of, I think that's alluded to a couple of times.
Oh, I thought they were like, no, he's the right captain because does the thing. Like I thought he had some
Yeah. I think he missed the Civil War by being out on a deep space exploration ship, and I think he was the first officer there. He might have, I mean, that's the thing, too, is when you're on one of those, you don't get reinforcement, so you can show up as 4th or 5th in line, and then a couple bad away missions, and you're the captain.
Yeah, because they should stop sending the captain on the away missions. But
yeah, they don't have that rule in Earth Force, so.
Clearly, because, like, Lockley was out fighting raiders and got herself stranded, so
right. That's absurd. Can you imagine Picard?
It's absurd. Yeah
So he gets grilled here for a bit, and obviously this doesn't ruin his Earth Force career because he does make it to captain. We skip ahead again. We don't know how far, except that he's a lieutenant now, and then we see the scene, Laura.
Oh, did they tell us he was a lieutenant in that scene?
Yeah, someone refers to him as a lieutenant.
Okay, I missed that part. Okay, yeah, because he's
like offhand dialogue.
He's at a poker game in like civilian clothing. So
playing games with weird shaped playing cards. I love me some weird shaped playing cards in sci-fi.
Hell yes.
It makes absolutely no sense, but I'm fucking here for it every single time.
Give me weird shapes. Give me weird designs. I'm on it.
100%.
Yeah. Doesn't Dabo have like round cards?
Dabo's got weird cards. Sabac's got like weird like diamond kind of cards. Things they're not diamonds, but they're kind of like that shape almost, like an inverse hourglass kind of thing. Fucking Battlestar, all of the paper has the corners cut off in Battlestar.
It's like rounded corners.
It's just like angle.
Like we just cut it off, like where you would put
we
the
just
staple?
cut off the corners. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. No staples.
All right.
All corners just cut off at like a little 45 degree, like an inch or something out of the paper. Mm-hmm. And that goes to the playing cards as well. They've got all the corners cut off. And we'll talk about that when we get to Battlestar. It's one of the smallest world building details that I'm just a fucking sucker for.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes no sense.
I do like weird cards.
Even the Battlestar collectible card game, which exists.
Did they carry it to the card game?
They did.
Awesome. What a nice treat.
All the card game cards have the corners missing, right? Oh, so good.
Cool effect. Yeah. So Gideon's opponent can't pay up to play his hand and offers up some collateral.
Yeah. We see the apocalypse box. He whips it out, shows the room.
Yeah.
Says it's older than mankind and that it knows things.
So homie just rolled up to this poker game carrying a giant box for no reason.
Well, the box told him to. So this is all implied, right?
Yeah.
The box wanted to get to Gideon is what I'm presupposing here.
Oh.
That's my theory.
Okay.
Is the box knew that Gideon was going to beat this game. The box wanted to get to Gideon. And so the box lied to him about what hand to play. And I was like, no, you'll win this one. Bet me as collateral. You'll take all of his money. Which is why when he loses, he's just laughing.
Yeah. Because he's like,
because the box fucking lied to him. Yeah. And then he says it right after too. The box lies.
Yeah, he did say that. I did take note.
So I think that's exactly how he wouldn't have brought that box normally, but the box was all like, you're going to want me at this poker game. Or maybe it helps him cheat at cards all the time.
You know, that's just hysterical though. Like the box telling you, bring me to the poker game. And then you roll up to the poker game carrying your giant box because it told you to.
Yeah.
You're like, this isn't embarrassing at all. I don't take orders from my box.
So, well, it controls. I mean, there's a reason his dying words are, I'm free.
Right. Yeah. So let's go through the whole scene. We keep like alluding to moments away. So
yeah,
he puts up the apocalypse box as collateral when he has what, 2 pair?
Yeah.
Is that what they
Or he had a full house. Or no. Okay. So Gideon has a full house. Previous owner of the apocalypse box had 2 pair.
Right. That's what I was. Okay. So Gideon gets the box and is like taking it away, and the box's owner laughs hysterically and tells him, but sometimes it lies. Like, yeah, it tells you things about the future and stuff, but sometimes it lies. And then bolts and gets himself hit by a motor scooter.
Just like, I'm out.
Gideon tries to like get him to a hospital, and he's like, no, I would rather die. I'm free now, thank God. So now Gideon has an ominous box.
Yeah, which we've seen. It's taken him to some unsavory places in the galaxy so far.
Uh-huh.
Like, we have not some of the leads that we believe it was responsible for. Not great.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't want him to trust Galen. And we like Galen as an audience.
Yeah.
So
we do.
Not a good look, box.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the box knows that, he can smell that musk on him.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, the box knows.
Mm-hmm.
I as much as I'm here for the box content, I think the box content is hilarious. So let's talk edits, Xhafer.
Okay.
I would not have put any of this shit about the box in here. I would have taken it out. Because as we come back to the alien, the alien is satisfied with this truth that Gideon has shared and forgives him, right?
Yeah.
I think the thing that Gideon wants forgiveness for is like watch his survivor's guilt, like watching everyone on the Cerberus die,
and watching this other dude die. Yeah, that's why you get both stories. I think is because they're both survivor's guilt stories.
I guess, but I don't think.
Oh, they're not comparable.
I don't think it's comparable.
What is way worse?
I think that the guy getting like hit by the motor scooter for the weird, like, oh God, thank God I'm free from the apocalypse box. Like, that's not Gideon's fault. Like, that's just a weird thing that happened to him and could be super unsettling, but he didn't do anything to cause that.
Yeah.
So
he didn't push that guy in front of the motorcycle.
Right. I think that if you should take that part out and leave it at like Gideon's like survivor's guilt of not understanding what happened to the Cerberus, no one believing him about the ship that he saw, getting rescued by like space wizards, and like, why am I still alive when everybody else died? I think that it's more impactful if you leave it there.
And then if you have it just be that, right? Then you've got Matheson's story coming up in a minute, which could also be a survivor's guilt story.
Yep. And
then you have Galen's story coming up after that, which was also a survivor's guilt story. So you have, that's the pain that you feel, the pain of living, which is also in line with, well, of course I have pain. I'm alive. Isn't the Gideon says it something along those lines at some point. So it's just like, it all kind of falls into place then.
Yeah. I think you got to move the box story. And I think you could contain it in this episode and just put it like toward the end where we're like, Gideon's privately reflecting on another experience,
I think I would move it up and have it be the flashback that occurs when they first encounter the orb.
Okay.
Before he's granted forgiveness, before we know what's going on with this thing. It's just like peers something off of his memory off the top, and that's what it gets.
Maybe that's what makes it interested. Like, ooh, the box? I know the box. Or something.
Yeah, the box and I are old buddies. Yeah. The box causes lots of people to have survivor guilt, and I eat that shit up. So.
Yeah, so Gideon leaves. We don't follow up with that right away. And Matheson goes to see the alien.
Why do they call it an apocalypse box if it just knows stuff? Shouldn't it just be a knowing stuff box?
Maybe the box causes apocalypses with what it knows. Maybe it's actually a Pandora's box.
They call it a Pandora's box. I don't know why you would ever want something called an apocalypse box. It seems like an item that you would not take ownership of.
Like, no thanks. You can keep your weird box, guy.
With that name, nah.
Yeah. So Matheson goes to see the alien in the crystal ball. And the background music here sounded like something I would listen to while I'm in the bathtub. Like, it's very new age spa.
Yeah.
That you would have it on the background while you're getting a massage. Like the music in the show, Xhafer.
It's terrible.
So bad.
We get a flashback to, I'm believing Matheson here is a Psychop in training.
Yeah, because he's definitely at the Psycor headquarters building that we saw like in the last Bester episode, right?
Yeah.
Where he had his little Psychop interns.
He's in the black suit. He's got the pin on. He's got the gloves. Like, it's very Psychop looking. But we hear that all the Psychops are off doing shit.
Important shit.
So he needs to be doing this thing.
Yeah, the Psychops are all handling rebellion stuff. So this is the height of the problems, I think, of the troubles, if you will.
I would say it's the climax of the Psychop troubles.
Yeah. He's got to administer the sleepers to a resistance telepath that has been captured that was like a leader, very high up.
Yeah, he's getting his orders from Gary motherfucking Graham. Just throwing that out there. Had no idea he was in this show.
Tell me about Gary Graham. I don't remember this name.
Gary Graham is fucking everywhere. But the role for him that always comes to mind is it Sovak in Enterprise? He's the lead Vulcan dude in Enterprise. Not the one on the ship, but the Vulcan ambassador to Earth. He's Sarek's predecessor.
Okay, but I'm doing the most important Google to see if he was ever an Airwolf. It doesn't appear that he was an Airwolf, so.
Okay.
All right. And I haven't seen much of Enterprise. That's why I didn't clock him at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he's maybe in like 10, maybe 15 episodes. He's not in a ton. So.
Yeah. But he does have a Vulcanish face, like they like a face with some like strong eyebrows.
Yeah.
Or potential for strong eyebrows. So yes, he's going to administer the sleepers to this resistance lady. He has orders not to talk to her, but of course he talks to her.
Yeah. She's all like, look, I'm the last one left. All the other resistance leaders are dead. They say they're going to take me over here for this other thing. No, they're just going to fucking kill me. They're going to kill me like they killed every single one of my peers. And you can look up my peers and see what the fuck's going on. And so he does.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a fucking crime that Byron is not on this list.
Oh, yes. Because Byron would be dead by this point, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
But
he'd be a dead resistant. He would have been dead for a little while at this point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He would have been dead for a couple of years. But he is a resistance leader. And if you're going through the list of resistance leaders and checking their alive dead status, you would think he'd be on that list.
Is he only not on the list? I mean, I think the show should put him on the list because that is a fun callback. And people will be like, yeah. I remember Byron. Remember Byron.
That is the thing.
That is the thing. But is it just like so ubiquitous that we know how Byron died? Like, because Lita was making it a thing. She was going to share it everywhere.
I mean, if there was a storyline reason for Byron not being on this list, it would be Bester erasing him simply because of Remember Byron.
Yeah.
Just like out of spite.
Yeah. But
no, he 1,000%. There's no reason he shouldn't have been on this list.
Agree. And it would have been fun.
Even if it's just a still, you can pay the actor the $100 or whatever.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like it can't be that much money to use someone's a production still of someone from a previous episode.
Because we love callbacks to this stuff. We love that shit. Eat it up.
And that's one of the things this show does so good. So to not see Byron here.
Yeah.
Not actually the thing I would change with this episode.
No, I would throw this in there because if we could have Lockley,
100%.
We had Lockley just like reading personal logs to an alien in Medbay a few episodes back. Like, why can't we have just a still shot, just a second of Byron on the list?
Yeah.
Okay, so he goes back to administer the sleepers. I think they said every 2 hours.
Something. It was crazy.
Yeah. So he's got to see her a lot in a short amount of time. She tells him that if he continues this, then her blood is on his hands because he's helping them get her killed. He goes to administer the dose when someone walks in the door behind him, but just squirts it on her arm. He does not give it to her.
Yep. Just a little squirt on the arm. Turned anti-vaxxer. So
the superior runs into him in the hallway and is like, "Oh, hey, that raid we were doing, they weren't where we thought they were going to be. So now we got to find him." Matheson charges back to her cell and wants to know what she's up to. She tells him that she smuggled in a homing device, like digs it out of her leg with the needle.
Yeah. Right.
And now they know where the Psychor base is and they'll be attacking. So he better run while he can.
Mm-hmm. And then he does, like immediately. And the attack starts almost immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like running through hallways and all of a sudden the alarms start blaring and the ground starts shaking. And
we see him in a shuttle.
He gets on that shuttle right as the base explodes. They take off.
Yeah, so they just like nuke the thing or something.
Yeah. Crazy. So out of the flashback, the alien forgives Matheson as well. And we don't see his response to that. He just walks away.
And then Galen comes in and he says that he knows what's up. This thing is feeding off of fear, feeding off of sadness. And it's all like, nah, bro. I feed off forgiveness.
Yeah, Galen's a suspicious bitch.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah.
It's part of Space Wizard, I think.
Yeah. It just comes with the territory.
Right.
When your boys make dragons for fun, like, you're going to be suspicious of some shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, and didn't one of their other homeboys make the virus thing?
Oh, yeah.
The mechanical
They're all
virus.
shady.
Yeah.
They're all shady, for sure.
Man, that could have gone somewhere. The technomage is turning out to be, like, actually pretty evil.
I mean, I think they are. Not categorically, but, like, for sure. I mean, they left because they didn't want to do the Shadow's bidding.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, we don't want to get involved in this conflict because it's going to be fucking messy for us if we do.
But if you just take that at the Babylon 5 level, it seems kind of noble. It seems kind of like altruistic and a good thing. Like, we're taking our technology away so it can't go into bad hands. But as we're going through Crusade, we're actually seeing that the Order is kind of corrupt.
Yeah. I mean, I always took it as kind of if we stick around, the Shadows will enslave us. And it's like, and yeah, we don't want them to have the technology, but do you want them not to have that technology because you care about the galaxy?
Or
do you want them not to have
yourselves?
the technology because it's implanted in your fucking chest? So.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited by it. I wish there was more of that and more interesting things to go with it.
Mm-hmm. So the lady of the Bongwater tells Galen that he cannot be offered forgiveness because he must offer it himself.
Yes.
And we see Isabella's death and the love of his life dying. It's like, don't go, don't leave me to die alone, all this stuff. I'll send a message through the cosmos somehow.
Yeah. This was not effective.
Sad. It's sad, but it's also just like, they're both so like above talking to people. It feels that them expressing these serious emotions is so hard to take seriously because they're so past this most of the time in their casual interactions with people. Galen is so uncaring of everyone else's emotions that when he feels sad, I do not feel empathy towards him because he's an asshole.
Yeah. I don't get it because, like, she's never been mentioned. And no, you shouldn't necessarily have to have that. But, like, it felt like...
I think she was.
I know we learned about her in a quiz.
I think we got a mention of her. I don't know if we got a name, but there was, when he was talking with the Technomage on the Dragon Planet, there was some conversation there, if memory serves, about, like, the love of his life.
Yeah, maybe. I just remember the quiz.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, it felt like we're just shoehorning in a woman to fridge to give Galen a backstory. Like, for plot. And I'm like...
Yeah.
I was interested in her telling us, through their conversation, telling us that they're stuck on a planet and they've been stripped of everything they are by some of their own. So it's more of that, like, technomage infighting and corruption. I wanted to know more about that. I didn't really care about Isabel because, again, she's just there to kind of like deliver a soliloquy and die, and to tell Galen that he needs to learn to believe there's a god, basically. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't care about any of this story at all.
None of this hits.
No.
And this is the line I would change. All
right. Hit me.
Galen cannot be offered forgiveness because he must offer it to himself.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Not you must offer forgiveness yourself. You must offer it to yourself. You have to be able to forgive yourself. I cannot help you.
Yeah. And they've made it really ambiguous in the flashback of, like, she's telling him he needs to forgive God. And and I'm like, does he need to forgive her for leaving him? Like, that's a stage of grief people go through, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that could be it too. It's not clear about where this forgiveness goes, really.
Yeah, and I don't think it really fucking matters.
Nope.
This is the lowest point of the episode easily.
Yeah, did not enjoy, would not do that. I would figure out
So Galen gets ready to fireball this bitch, and Gideon makes him stop.
And now we're going to take it back where we found it.
Yeah, we just wanted to have a couple more flashback scenes without having to pay for that other set to be set up for them, so...
Yeah.
You know.
And we're going to take it back where we found it because, I don't know, maybe somebody else needs forgiveness. Maybe they need to find
and
it.
Someone rolls in immediately.
There's like a line. There's a forgiveness line, but it's like on the other side of the planet, so they don't know it's there.
It's like, how do you not interact? This like other alien flying down, you would have an interaction with them.
Yeah, you would notice them at least.
Yeah. You'd be like, oh, hey, know that this is what you're getting into or something. There'd be something there. It's just fucking weird.
You know who needs this Lady of the Bongwater? Can you think of a Babylon 5 character who needs the Lady of the Bongwater?
I think a few could use this visit. I think this would save us a walkabout.
Oh, that's a good point. I was thinking of a certain Centauri emperor.
Oh, Londo. Oh. This thing could just get installed at the palace, man.
Just needs to sit there, like behind the throne.
It's a lot of forgiving needs to be done with Londo. Yeah. Ugh.
That would be so interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, Galen gets delivered a message from the universe.
Okay.
To credits.
Yeah. No, before that, Gideon and Matheson also have a discussion about how they've slept well for the first time in years.
Yeah.
Which, I'm glad to hear, and I'm glad there's healing. But dudes would rather dig up an ancient crystal ball than go to therapy.
Just get you some CBD, bro. It helps, trust.
Yeah.
God, I just turned my boss onto that, and he's sleeping well for the first time in years.
Hey, good for him. I could not sleep last night, but I think it was, I had a migraine day yesterday and wound up taking, in addition to my regular medicine, some Excedrin migraine in the afternoon, which contains caffeine. So I think that was actually keeping me up. Oh, well.
That'll do it.
I'm going to need some more CBD though.
Yeah, I got to get you some CBD tea. Do you have the link? I'll send it to you.
Oh, yeah, send me that one. I've tried the Harney and Sons CBD tea. It's very good.
Yeah, no, it's the same stuff.
Oh, it is the same?
Yeah, it's Harney and Sons. I usually drink the chamomile mint.
I think that's the one I had.
16 milligram. They had a 12 for a while, but I think I don't know, I'm on the 16 now. I got the 24, maybe it was more than that once.
Too much?
And that shit just knocked me out. I was done.
Yeah. No, I liked it. I just need to get more.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the message from the universe, it says, Galen, my love, or just Galen, love, I think.
Yeah, with a bunch of gibberish.
They can't figure out where it came from. And he wads it up and tosses it on the floor to credits.
Yep.
Okay.
Therapy, brah.
Yeah. So, Xhafer, how many of your main guns are firing?
One main gun fires for Matheson scene in the Psy-Core.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm. I didn't hate Gideon's either, except that because we went with the Apocalypse box, like tagging it in there, it went on too long.
I guess the order we're watching it in doesn't really fucking impact this, but I feel like we've seen him floating in space like 4 times now.
Yeah. We've gotten the illusions
we fucking get it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like how we kind of hammered in a little bit Sinclair's like abduction.
I was just thinking
Midnight
that.
on the Firing Line.
Yeah, except there's no fucking mystery here. Like there's not, surprise Valen hanging out behind this story. It's I picked the dude up. Also, question. If he had the Apocalypse box, or no, he would have gotten it after. Okay, he would have gotten it after. Never mind.
When did he get the Apocalypse box, we think?
He got it after the ship blew up.
Yes.
Because I'm just like, how did it survive the ship blowing? No, they tell us it's after. I'm just fucking tired.
Did he have it when the Drakh Plague was released on Earth?
He would have, yeah.
Yeah, he would have had it. And the box is supposed to tell the future, right? And the box just was like, yeah.
I mean, he wasn't assigned to, and he was in deep space then, so who knows?
Yeah.
He may not have been able to do shit about it. The box maybe didn't want him to do shit about it.
Yeah. I don't like the box. The box is bad. I mean,
yeah,
I think the box is hysterical. Let me clarify.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
The box is a bad person.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm with you. I'm like one main gun because I've been like itching for some more about telepaths, and I finally got it.
Still a little bit.
Yeah, but I didn't need the Galen thing at all. It wasn't interesting for me.
Well, hopefully this next episode is interesting.
Hopefully. Tell me about it.
We've got episode 6, Ruling from the Tomb. Gideon and Lockley must prevent a doomsday cult from killing everyone at a virus conference on Mars.
What? Oh, so we're going to get some more pandemic weirdos?
Probably, yeah.
I mean, that's one complaint I've had, is that there have not been nearly enough weirdos.
We know there's going to be a lot of weirdos when a pandemic hits.
Now we know.
Just how many will show up.
All right. So, it's time, I guess.
Yeah, just like it's time to say thank you. Thank you, Jeremy Siegel, for our lovely theme music. We appreciate you. We appreciate everything you do, and we appreciate your music. You can find more of it at jeremysiegel42.bandcamp.com or on streaming services as Nuclear Jaguar.
And a thank you to Angry Duck Time Machine on Instagram for our podcast artwork.
Aaron, thanks so much for editing the podcast and making sure it gets out on time. Appreciate the hell out of you.
Sure do. And thank you to you, the listener, for being here with us. It's been another episode of Crusade. I hope you had a good time.
I hope that this episode of our podcast was better than that episode of Crusade.
I mean, the bar is so low. You gotta hope that we're like just flying over it.
Right?
And if you want to tell us about it, you can email us at whoareyoub5@gmail.com, or you can join us in the Discord.
Yeah. And we'll see you next week, Internet.
Bye.